Mercedes 300 front bumper removal and grille replacement. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive Rides. Today I'm going to be pulling the front bumper, the front fascia of the car if you will, and replacing the grille. So we're going to jump right into it. First things first, you want to turn the wheels one way or the other, depending on what side you want to start on, because you have three little push pin like things right down here. There's one here, here, and right up here. You want to go ahead and pop those out because behind those there are two bolts that you need to remove that hold the front bumper on. Need to do the same thing on the other side. They have this little center pop in them, if you will. You want to pull that out, and you shouldn't have to remove it all the way, by the way, but pull that out and then get behind it with a pry tool and pop the little plastic rivet like things and go ahead and remove them on each side. So we're going to go ahead and do that, then we'll come back on and I'll show you where the bolts are. Okay, once you have those rivet things out, those plastic rivets, you can see there are two bolts up here. One is right here. It's kind of hard to see. The other is up there. They're 10 millimeter. You need to go ahead and remove those. Now that I've got those fender plugs or rivets and screws out, went ahead and put it on the lift because it's much easier to work underneath. You can lift it up in the air. Now, one thing I'd recommend, you are going to be unplugging some sensors. So I would go ahead and disconnect the battery. I've heard of people having check engine lights pop up because they did not do that. So I would disconnect the battery next. After that, we're going to put it up in the air and take off the covers underneath, the engine covers. There's two. I'm not so sure if you have to take both off. We'll find out. But I'm going to go ahead and put it up. Now, one other thing I want to notice, if you do have a front camera like I do, you can see it right here. You'll want to disconnect the wiring to that as well, obviously, so that when you're pulling the grill off, you're not binding that. So we'll unplug that as well. And then down there on the passenger side, there is another plug for the front sensors, assuming that you have those. So we'll disconnect them as well. Okay, next up, and we do have the battery disconnected. We've got it up in the air. You have to remove this cover and maybe this cover. Not sure about that yet. I'm hoping once I take the screws out, I can just pull this off without fully removing that one. Less work, the better. That's going to give us access to the bolts we need access to underneath. And there's also some sort of a push pin, I think it's right back here, that we need to remove as well. So let me go ahead. There's about 1 million of these little 8 millimeter screws. We're going to go ahead and pull those covers off, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we've got the covers off, and now there's a bolt. You can see the light hopefully shining on it right here. One on each side that you need to remove. That holds the grill as well. I believe those are 10 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off next. Again, one on each side. And then I think we go up to the front. Okay, I got the two harnesses disconnected, if you will. The one that's right down there and this one here. This is for the camera again, and it is attached to the grill. So you have to take it off of this little bracket. I tried to pull it out, that didn't work. So it was taped around there. So I just removed the tape. It's still hanging, you can see right there. So now I have one screw left. There are 5 across the front. One here, here, one still here, here, and here. This is the last thing, I hope, holding the front bumper on. So I'm going to pull that off. I'll let you guys see the carnage and hopefully carry it over to that table right there without damaging anything. Okay, last screw. By the way, keep your screws and stuff in bags just to keep track of everything. It'd be bad to have a good install except for you're missing your screws. So that's what I'm doing, just things laying around. Now, I've got it loosened from the sides, so we're not holding there. All we should be holding is right here in the front. Again, that's what I'm hoping. I don't see any other wires. All of the screws are out. So here we go. I'm going to kind of pop it up a little bit, hopefully. It's not coming, I can tell you that. I don't know what's holding it on the top here though. So let me figure that out and then I'll come back on, show you guys. Okay, I figured it out, I think. You see, you can tell there's little ridges here on top of, or below rather, these little nubs. That is what's holding it on right now. So I have to overcome those. Again, I've been real ginger with it, so I didn't put a lot of force into that. I might be able to actually pick it up from the bottom and lift it over those, I'm not sure. It appears that's what it is, although I'm not quite sure. But that's my guess at the moment, so we're gonna try that. Okay, I did get it off. It was just a matter of a little more pressure. However, I discovered I had a plug, of course, behind the grill emblem, and once I had the grill off, I'm holding the grill and trying to get this disconnected. Not the easiest thing to do. I did break one of the little tabs on this side pulling it out, but we still have this one left here. Just an FYI, 2 hands extra would have been better to push these in and pull this out. Maybe even trying to remove the emblem from the front before tackling this. That might have given a little bit better exposure to this plug, which is right here on the side. That's where that wire plugged into. So anyway, I've got it off. No harm done, no damage except for that little broken clip. That's the only thing I've broken so far, fortunately. No scratches that I'm aware of. I was dangling the grill for a little bit, so that was kind of a drag. I don't know what the heck that is. Weeds, I guess. But anyway, no issues that I can see, so that's good. So now, finally, the whole reason that we did this is to put this grill on. I know it's a lot of work, right? So we need to remove the center emblem first. I'm going to see how to do that. There is a camera in here. I don't know how that all works either. We shall see, but that's what's next. Time to start disassembling for the new grill. We have to take off these black foam pieces. I already pulled one off. They're just held on by these little push tab kind of things. Pretty simple. I assume the rest is the same. I know this one is. You just kind of pull them up and that will release this piece. That's about it. Then I assume the center one is as well. Then we get to try to get the grill off. I did try to spin the front grill emblem. Not as easy as a lot of videos make you think, because there's no leverage. There's no holes in this, so I can't stick my hands through and grab it. And frankly, I'm not even sure it comes off that way. So we're gonna go ahead and remove those foam pieces, and then we're gonna get to the next part, which is removing the grill itself, and then we'll see about getting that emblem out. Okay, we've got the guts inside the new grill. The camera, just these 2 screws, and then it goes back in where it was. Over here, they put an anti-theft thing on so that you can't just simply twist off the front grill emblem. You see this little hook thing? To get it off of the other one, you have to overcome that. So you gotta push this down a little bit to get over the hump so you can twist it off. There is another one over here on the other side. It's actually below, so there's 2 of them. As far as the sensor itself, if you have that, it just twists in clockwise, same way that it came out of the other one in reverse. That's it. So now we got to pull the bumper back up here and fit the grill back in the little slots, put the covers back on exactly in reverse as we took them off, and then we're going to put the grill back on the car, the fun part. I am all done. It was a success. It took me a better part of the whole day to do this. Not quite as easy as some of the videos show you, I'll let you know right now. The biggest hurdle for me was that wire, that connection to the center grill area. In other words, the sensor that's behind the Mercedes badge, or right here. That was the most difficult because I didn't know it was there, and I had to screw around trying to remove it with the bumper disconnected by myself. That was kind of a drag. But I did get it, and the only thing I broke, the whole install, was a little clip on the edge of that sensor connection, I guess. No big deal, there's 2, it snaps in, it didn't really matter. Other than that, it's not a difficult install. Again, I will mention the center logo, or badge rather. They have burglar proofed it, and that behind it there is a little clasp, if you will, that you have to overcome to take it off, and you can only access that from the back. So I had to deal with that. That was kind of a drag, but in the end, I did get it and didn't break anything in the process. That's always a good thing. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it looks good on the car, much better than what was on there before in the form of stock, even though it has a lot of silver in it. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to know. Have you done this? Do you have plans to do it? I'd be curious. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about Toyota Tacomas, and Rob Motive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.